Hey everyone, it's Keely here for Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for another soap making video. Today's soap is one of my Patreon design soaps. Every month I ask my patrons to give me some ideas based off a theme that I put forward. Now for this month I asked them to give me ideas for fruit and vegetables that they would like to see me use in a soap. I put everyone's suggestion into a little soapy jug and drew one of them out. And the suggestion we drew out was from Rita, and she said that she had some peach trees that were coming into fruit and flower, or flower and fruit, and she wanted to know if the peaches could be used in soap. Now Rita only actually makes for herself and family, so I don't have any business links to leave you in the description box, but should that change I'll make sure to update the video. Now I was also feeling very inspired by this peach to go off the sort of lines of my favorite lip balm flavor that I offer, which is coconut milk and peaches. So not only am I going to make a puree with a fresh peach, I'm also going to add some coconut milk into this soap as well. So let's go and see how I make my summer peach and coconut milk soap. Let's go. Alright, so the first thing we are going to do for this peach soap is actually prepare a fresh peach to go into it. Peaches do have a lot of benefits, or skin benefits. They're full of vitamin C. How much of that actually comes through into the soap, I do not know, but it is very good if you've got it in things like lotions. You often find a lot of peach sort of themed things in anti-aging products. Now I'm not claiming that is what my soap is going to be doing, because at the end of the day this is a wash off product, but the peach is going to add some really interesting sort of label appeal. What I'm going to do is actually get these corded up and get the skin peeled off as well. I really don't want the skin in there. I have a feeling it will go brown if I do. I have gone for a white flesh peach because I figured that the white flesh is not going to interfere with the colouring of the soap as much as a yellow fleshed peach would. So I'm going to get this all skinned, keeping as much of that nice flesh as I possibly can. I'll get the pip out. I'm then going to put it into my Ninja blender with a little bit of distilled water, and then I am going to blitz it up and make a puree with this peach. Now just to make sure that I don't have any big chunks of peach in here, I'm just going to get that off, and I'm going to pass it through this sieve. Alright, so there we have it. We now have our peach puree to go into our soap. Now if you used a yellow fleshed one, it wouldn't look as grey as what this one does, but I really don't want that yellow to interfere too much with the colours we're going to add. I am going to go and get the rest of my ingredients, and then we're going to start making this soap. Okay, so before I actually start mixing all this together, I just want to do something very quick just to explain how I actually calculate my lye solution, because I get asked this question all the time whenever I use liquid alternatives. So whenever you do use something other than water, so we've got both peach puree and I've got my coconut milk, you need to take that into consideration with the amount of water you are adding into your lye solution. Now to dissolve sodium hydroxide, in general you need at minimum a 1-to-1 solution. So if you've got 200 grams of sodium hydroxide, you need at least 200 grams of water to dissolve that sodium hydroxide. Now if you only use that sort of ratio in your soaps, you're going to have a very quick batter, and it is only recommended for very simple designs and if you are very experienced. But that is simply what you need to dissolve lye. When you bring it up on your soap calculator, this amount that it tells you up here is the recommended amount of water based on what your preferences are for soaping. It does not mean to say you have to use that specific amount of water to dissolve that lye. As long as you've got that minimum 1-to-1, you can do whatever you want with that water. So if you want to do, if you've got you can see I've got 243 grams of sodium hydroxide. I would need 243 grams of water to actually dissolve it, and then I can do whatever I want with the other 300 grams of that liquid component. And this is what I've decided to do. So we've got our peach, which weighed 95 grams. I've got coconut milk, which I've put in at 100 grams, and we've got that extra water that I actually dissolved or pureed the peach up with down here. If I add the 4500 and the 95 together and take it away from the 544, I'm left with 304 grams of water. So I've used that 304 grams of water to dissolve my sodium hydroxide, and then I have the rest of my liquid component here to make sure that my soap is at the sort of liquid content that I want it to be while I am working with it. So that is a quick sort of explanation on how to add those liquid alternatives into your soap. I hope that does make a bit more sense for those of you that keep asking me how to do it. I'll also address a bit later on in the video another very common question I get about adding purees into soaps. But for now, what I'm going to do is actually get this all blended in, because I can hear more rain coming and I want to try and get it done before it comes out on the microphone on the camera. So I'm going to start by adding in my sodium hydroxide distilled water solution. I'm going to very, very gently bring that up to emulsion, and then I will add in my puree and my coconut milk and stir those in, split it up for the colors, and then we will get pouring it into our mold. Alright, so we are all mixed in together there. I am going to work a little bit quicker now, just in case that peach does start to make this accelerate a little. So what we're going to do is, in this jug here, I am going to use some of the so-called red mica from off Magic Mica. Last time I used this, it actually went a peachy, orangey sort of colour. So I'm not too fussed if it doesn't go that way again, because I want that sort of peachy reddy colour. This one in here is called Marigold, and that one is from My Micro Obsession. And into this jug here, I'm actually going to put in some titanium dioxide. I think I actually just want just a tad bit more in there. Into my big container, I am going to use some of this deep yellow. I am hoping it's going to stay a yellow colour, but something in my mind is kind of saying this is going to go orange, and I have no idea why, but we'll keep our fingers crossed for yellow and see what happens. I am going to get these colours mixed in, and then we are going to put in our fragrance. Today I am using Summer Peach, which is a Sweet Cakes fragrance oil, and I got this one in from Heirloom Body Care. And once I've got that all mixed in here, we're going to start pouring it into the mold. I've decided today I want to do kind of a really summery drop swirl style of pour, and maybe do a little bit of a hanger swirl too. So did you just wonder what I was doing apart from making an absolute mess there? It did look really messy at one stage, but I did kind of have this idea in my head as well. I kind of almost wanted to go for that sort of Weiss sort of look that you get, because they're really, really popular here in the summer, where you have that nice coconut cream, because they now do dairy-free ones. You have a nice coconut cream down the one side and then all that sort of peachy goodness on the other side. So I just thought I might try and get that sort of look on here, and also my little embed embeds are going to sit on top of that white a lot better than they're going to sit on top of the yellow. So there was method to my madness. I actually haven't soaped for about 5 weeks now because it has just been so crazy busy trying to keep up with all the lotions, shampoos and everything else, and the candles that I do. And I had so much soap sitting on the soap rack and the curing rack, and well, now that's almost all gone. So I really desperately needed to make soap. These are our little embeds. If you saw yesterday's little behind the scenes video, you would have seen how I made them. If you haven't yet seen that, I'll leave a link up in that top right hand corner showing you how I made these super cute little peach embeds. And each of my soaps is going to get just one of these little embeds on the top of them. And that is why I decided to put my white, because I just felt that they were going to sit on that white better than what they were going to sit on that side. So I'm going to make sure that we pop them between each of my lines. Hopefully, well, they are still a little bit squishy, so if they are a little bit too big, I can squish them down, but hopefully they will sit nicely on each of those bars. So we'll do that like that. Now, another really common question I get asked whenever I put fresh fruit and veg into my soaps, I get questions along the lines of how long will the soap last, will it grow bacteria, and all of those sort of questions. And the answer kind of is, but you have to be very careful as well, that the pH level in your soap will actually keep bacteria and mold at bay, so it won't potentially grow. However, you do need to make sure that you are doing a couple of things to help prevent that bacteria from growing as well. So one of those things is do not use too much fruit or vegetable puree in your soap. So basically you want there to be more soap in here than what you are going to have that sort of growth starter. So I usually stick to about 1 to 5% of my oil weights, and I have never had a problem. The reindeer food soap, you saw a remake of that the other day. I actually had a bar of that sitting in the house from last year, and I purposely kept it to see how long it would last, if I would have any problems and things like that. And about 14 months in, still hadn't had any problems, so I decided I was going to use the soap. And I really enjoyed using it. So as long as you're not using too much, it is going to be fine. The other thing when you are using your purees is you do need to make sure that they are well and truly pureed with no lumps. If you do have any lumps of food in there, that is when you are going to get the problem, because the soap surrounding that lump can't protect the inner part of that lump of food, and that's where the bacteria will actually attach. Whereas if you have got it nicely pureed, so it is really thin, the soap can surround the food particles and keep it nice and safe. So as long as you are keeping within a reasonable usage rate and making sure that your purees have got no lumps in, you should not have any problems with using fresh fruit and veg in your soaps. They are so cute. I can't get over how absolutely adorable these little peaches are. I am contemplating sparkles, and I don't think I actually will. I keep thinking that maybe I'll add some glitter, and then I'm thinking no, because I really want the coconut milk and the peach to be the absolute star of these soaps. But no, I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to bring you down for a closer look. So here it is. How super cute are those little peaches? I am in love with them, and all those colors, they just match in so perfectly. That little leaf is just absolutely adorable as well. This smells absolutely amazing. I wasn't too impressed with the fragrance when I first smelt it in the bottle, but now that it's out of the bottle and in the soap, and oh my goodness, it's actually making my stomach rumble on me, so I'm going to have to go find something to eat. I am going to leave it sit here for about 24 hours before I come back and cut it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what the swirls are like in here, because I had very different states of trace. Although it did thicken up, which would be because of the peach and the coconut milk that I used, the Magic Mica colorers, they seem to thicken up a lot quicker than what the my Micro Obsession one did. So we should get some really, really interesting swirls. So we'll be back in just a moment. We'll get it cut open and we'll take a look. I am now ready to cut into summer peaches and I'm really looking forward to seeing what swirls we've got on the inside. Now I do have fragrance leakage across the top of this one. I can see all these little sweat marks and I'm pretty sure that will all actually sink back in once it's sat on the sort of cure rack for a few weeks. As far as the colours go on here, I'm not completely disappointed with the colour that the soap has come out. I think that that sort of yellowy colour is really representative of a actual peach. The white has gone really grey and I would suspect that is from the peach puree, and possibly the mica has been affected also by that peach puree, but that dark yellow that I used, actually it was called deep yellow. This, if I can get the lid off, that is the colour in the pot and it's kind of gone this real pale, it doesn't seem to have that same vibrancy that it does in the pot. Now again, that could be because of the peach puree, but to be honest, I'm not having much luck with these micas that I got from off of Magic Mica, and I'm really sorry, I don't think I will be buying any more of them. Let's see what the red colour did on the inside. Alright, so let's start at this end here. That is the little peach on the top. It's so super cute. And that is the inside. I am loving how that white has swirled through the orange. Well, it wasn't orange, it was actually red. And the little bit of marigold that I use in that, it's kind of like the lighter shades. Now again, these colours could be altered because of the peach puree, but that red has still gone orange. So I'm just going to have to remember that when I'm using that so-called red colour in any of my future soaps. It's not red, it is orange. It's quite a pretty orange for this style of soap. I think that side of the bar you can see the marigold come through as well. I think this darker sort of orange colour up here, that is the red mica, and then this orange through here, that is the marigold that I put in here. So I am really happy with how it is swirled together, and I'm really glad I got that white in there, which kind of just really breaks up those colours a little bit more. It does smell really, really good as well. It is, as I said, got that fragrance leakage on the top, but I'm pretty sure that will all sink in as it sits on the cure rack. Now, if you are interested to see if this does change colour anymore, or to see that that fragrance oil does actually all go back in, I will be posting pictures of this soap when it is ready to go online over on the Instagram page. So if you follow me over there, you'll be able to see what happens to this particular soap. So I hope you have enjoyed watching how I made my Summer Peaches soap. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up and any comments down below. And until the next video comes out, I hope you have a great one and I will see you then. Bye.